That's nothing compared to how my cousin Walter died.
How did he die?
He broke his neck.
That's embarrassing.
He broke his neck trying to suck his own dick.
Shut the hell up.
I swear.
Stop it.
Bible truth.
Oh, my God.
Come on. Haven't you ever tried to suck your own dick?
No.
Yeah, right. You're so repressed.
Because I never tried to suck my own dick?
No, because you won't admit to it. As if a guy's a fucking pervert because he tries to get down on himself. You're as curious as the rest of us, pal. You've tried it.
Who found him?
My cousin? Mom found him. It was a mess. He was on his bed with his legs doubled over himself. Mom freaked out.
Yeah, he did not have a dick in his mouth.
Yeah. Balls resting on his lips.
Wow, you really made it.
Yeah, but at what a price.
I could never reach.
Reach what?
You know.
What, your dick?
Yeah, like you said, I guess everybody gets curious and tries it sometime.
I never tried it. Fucking pervert.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird brain. It's a plane. It's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Okay, all right, it's April 5th. April 5th, right? April 5th. Yes. Okay, I'm not going to do this again. I tried to re-record things, and I did something a little bit different tonight. I'm taking some risk because I actually, decided to add a little intro. I was going through stuff on Facebook, and somebody put up about, this scene from Clerks about Uncle Walter. They actually refer to Uncle Walter in Mallrats. Something about an Uncle Walter. So my name's Walter. The show's name Walter. Why not add Walter jokes to iWalter? So I don't know. I don't think Kevin Smith would really care if I used a bit from his movie. I can't say that for fact, but I did. You know what? It's funny. There's this guy at work, and I'm going to try to keep this. Right now, it is. I'm counting my time from when I started, which was almost 12:30, and I want to be done on my end by 1:30 a.m. Whenever this goes up, that's a good question. And keep it within the hour span time, because I seem like if I keep it shorter than an hour, it's perfect. If I go at an hour for my segment, that's okay too. But when I go a little longer, people just I don't get any listeners to begin with. It just gets far worse. So one thing I keep on for I've done this before. I get really bad with this. People mention things to me, and I tell them, hey, I'll just put it on my show. That sounds like a great idea, and it never goes anywhere. Like, for instance, that's been over a year ago, I guess. Yeah, it's got to be over a year ago, where there was over a year. God, no, it's over 3 years ago, maybe 4 now. I went up to Wilkes-Barre to see Trump when he was running for president, and I actually, me and my, friend from Wilkes-Barre, he lives up there. We went to this thing with Trump before he became president. When he was going around, what do you call that? And we met this guy from Canada named. I can't remember his name. Some Canadian truck driver. Nice guy. He says, "Oh, I do music." And I was like, "This is really." I think his name was Butch, and it was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have to put some of your songs on and do just a podcast about you. Well, you know what? I forgot about it, and I keep on telling myself I'll do it, and I forgot again and again and again. So, yeah, it's been almost like 4 years ago. So, yeah, when something slips my mind, it just, like, it really just gets buried. So, I'm going to try to be better this time, not with Butch, because that poor guy, Trump's going to be done his, possible second, his second term, and I'll still forget about that poor guy, Butch. Not that it's of any importance, it's not going to help his career at all, especially me. God, I couldn't even help, what do you call it? Oh, God, the guy who made, he was a gaffer on that movie. That movie that somebody did, that somebody knew, that somebody else knew, Phantasm. Roberto Casada. So he thought I was going to actually help his boost his the remastered copy of Phantasm. So he asked me, "Oh yeah, I want to do a podcast." He really thought I was going to help him, and I got like jack shit on listeners. So I didn't help him diddly squat. I helped him zero. So it's kind of funny. So anyway, to get back to what I wanted to talk about, there's a guy at work I work now. His name's James Hollinger. I think it's James Hollinger. And he keeps on sending me stuff. He says, oh, yeah, there's all these coronavirus songs, parody songs that were made from other people, other songs made by other people, made into parodies. And I was like, yeah, James, I'll play a couple of them. And he said, well, it's like up to 100 now. So he sent me 3 emails of all the parodies that have been made, and he said it's up to about 100. So I feel really bad. So it was like 3 shows later, and I still never mentioned his name. So not that it means anything, but he finds all these, and I promise him I'll play the parodies on my show. I really don't play anything except from a friend Matt, his stuff, because he makes original stuff, and I really like it. So he made 2 more tracks for me. I only play one at the end of the show, and I told him I decided, I really like the one that another friend commented on, said it sounds too 80s like. And it's like, well, that's what I like. And it kind of reminded that movie, God, I can't remember anything. But it was this film where, like, this invisible creature took over people's bodies, and I can't remember it, and I didn't want to look it up. So, it actually was on the top of independent horror films, amongst other ones. You know what actually made independent horror films, by the way, was one I like, which I also forget that name too, but I know the last part was LLC. And it was on the top list of independent horror films. It was one actually shot in Pennsylvania. So I really like that. And these films, whatever, it's about a haunted hotel, LLC. The first and second one actually did make me scream so loud that I thought the cops were going to come over the house. That's all. I'm not joking. I'm going to put in again top 10 independent horror films in the past 10 years. So you know what? I always go off track. Like, I start with something, and then it goes in a complete different direction, which I kind of actually, at this point, I don't mind, because honestly, it would have been, actually, Midsummer's on there now. The Lighthouse, Laura, whatever, some fictional story, or what is it, folklore about the Weeping Mother. I actually thought that was pretty good. Lighthouse was pretty interesting, but it's not what I'm looking for, unfortunately. Hereditary's on there. Surprisingly, Halloween is in the new Suspiria. That's pretty sad, actually. I don't know why this is so important to me, because it's not important to anyone else. In fact, my podcasts are not important to anyone else as well. I was just hoping I could kind of find the name of this movie, because for some reason, and that's another thing, I think I mentioned this a million times, you can actually, you can check out a lot of these new films that might be coming out, since sort of the movie theaters are all shut down. You can actually check them out on, It Follows. That the music that Matt made reminds me a lot like It Follows, so that's a good sign. But yeah, you can check a lot of these movies out online. You know what? I told my friend Matt about this, and I really liked this. I never went back and watched it again. It was a movie called A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. That is an excellent film, and believe it or not, that film was, I think that was shot I'm going to get this wrong, but like Iraq or Iran. Like, it's, the girl's actually American technically, but she came from another country, and it's got subtitles, but the film is excellent. When I saw it, I loved it. The Babadook is on there, and I didn't really like it. My mother loved it, and the woman at work asked me, she says, if you like all these horror films, you ever heard of this movie called The Babadook? And it was like, yeah, I thought it was okay, but, it gets a lot of people who say it's great, so I'm not one of them. The Witch, that was actually pretty interesting. Since I had this page open on, like, the best horror movies, actually there's one here, it says Demon 2015, and I did see that listed, like, to watch on streaming on a couple of my things. But, there's a couple films, Lights Out. I can't remember if I liked that or not. I did see that. Don't Breathe was actually really good. The Conjuring 2 is on there. I like actually all the Conjuring movies. I like all those films done by James Wan. I think he makes really good damn horror movies. I love them all. I haven't seen one yet that James Wan had produced that I really, it may not be like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I can definitely say, yeah, these films are definitely worth watching at least once. All right, I'm done with that story. I just had a check for that, so It Follows. So yeah, the piece you're going to hear tonight from Matt is going to sound like that. As I was digging through stories, digging for apples. Actually, that joke is an inside joke with me. Is from, which I loved speaking about movies. My favorite version of Alice in Wonderland. I have one I still have to watch. I bought a 3D version, which I haven't hooked up the PlayStation unit yet. The headset watched movie in 3D. But the new one by that has Johnny Depp in there, I wanted to watch that. But my favorite Alice in Wonderland growing up was, I actually watched one that was done in, I think, the 30s or something like that. That was all right. But no, my favorite one was a musical that actually had Peter Sellers in there. And that used to be on what used to be in Philadelphia, a channel called 29. And they would have it on around this time of year, because it's kind of like perfect for Easter for some reason. And I would watch it. So I eventually was able to track a copy down that was like a good print of the movie on DVD. It's buried somewhere in my room. And haven't watched it lately, but yeah, there was a scene in there, and it might have even had been Peter Sellers plays one of these furry little creatures that also speak, and one was digging up apples. I can't remember exactly what the creature was, but they were based upon real animals. So anyway, trying to keep this a little lighthearted, because that'll eat up some of my time. I only have 30-some minutes left already, because I've already gone through 15 with those segments in the beginning. But I got this email, and actually I got reminded about it before, which is kind of cool and a little bit odd, but it was for Atari making a retro it's called Atari VCS. They're going to make a retro console that looks, it's brand new, but it's supposed to be like a derivative, a derivative of the 2600 that, I grew up with. Matt grew up. Well, Matt's about 10 or so years younger than me, maybe more. So almost like when I grew up, at least, the Atari 2600. Intellivision is going to make one also. I can't remember the name of that one. But both these companies, and they come out about this year. Actually, earlier on this year, or a couple weeks ago, Xbox released what it's going to look like sometime this year when they release their new console, which basically looks like a miniaturized computer tower. So they're getting away from the whole console look altogether, and they're making it look more like a computer. The only weird thing is, for expansion drives, you got to put in these what look like dongles. If you're familiar with the word dongle, a dongle is like those little things you plug in your USB port, kind of similar to that, for your upgrade of your hard drives, space. So it's kind of weird. I got something I read the other day or just yesterday, something like that, where Sony is going to put out their new PlayStation 5 by holiday time, which would be Christmas. So fourth quarter of this year, and they have all the specs, but they don't have a physical appearance or what the physical appearance of the console is going to look like. Problem with this stuff is, one, believe it or not, the coronavirus is affecting a lot of these manufacturers, because Sony, especially, they make their stuff in China. So with the issues going on within that country still, which is not really heard of anymore, or as much, is going to set them back a little bit. I don't know about Microsoft, but a lot of stuff is still made in China. So, it's going to hurt a little bit everywhere. So, excuse me, it's the Corona call. I should do what Rush Limbaugh does. He actually mutes his mic when he has to cough, but his is for a different reason. I don't have coronavirus. I'm just saying it. Talking about coronavirus, or as it's actually properly announced, or pronounced, COVID-19. One thing that I have seen a couple times, and last night or Friday night when I got home from work, I listened to the whole 3 hours of Rush, because I swear there was something, which I was right. It was just a little bit different in what I remembered from prior that day, earlier that day, where Rush was basically saying this is a political stance, which he did say that. With this coronavirus, they're going to use this, the Democrats, to prolong, keep this going as long as possible, because the people who are actually shutting everything down, it's suggested by the government, which, trickles down to Trump's name, but who really makes the final decision is your governor of your state. And, they're taking certain tactics. Wolf decided to make this thing that, hey, you have to wear a mask, cover your mouth and your nose, a surgical mask outside or something equivalent. It's recommended throughout the state. I personally can't wear them. I have to wear it at my job because I work at a kind of like a pharmaceutical situation. So I kind of do have to wear one. I do have to wear one. Otherwise, I won't work. Outside, I think it's just ridiculous. I had something on that, too, that just says that it's basically, it's doing absolutely nothing for you. If you wear a mask, the only one it protects, or the only one who should be wearing it, is if you have the symptoms or you have the coronavirus. It said, I'll find the article, it's buried somewhere. It said, then you wear one. Or if you are around the loved one with it, you want to wear it. But the person who should be wearing it is with the coronavirus, not if you don't have it. And it said otherwise, it's just a complete waste. The only ones that will protect you also are not these commercialized ones that everybody's selling online or in the stores. You need one that actually will protect you, well, somewhat, not completely, from the virus. And the only one it's protected by wearing that mask is not yourself. You're protecting other people, because if you decide to cough and not cover your mouth or sneeze, you're only protecting everybody else. You're not protecting yourself. So it's kind of weird. I probably did not say that in a very clear way, so I apologize. But a lot of stuff, Matt, you can't see because I have it on Facebook, and I don't think you have you had some problems with that, because otherwise you could see all these links, or I could send them to you if you wish. So anyway, one thing that stuck in my mind, even what what Rush said on Friday, was about this whole political stance, and then he mentioned about, like, under Obama, tons of people died. I mean, I forget, was it millions, like 10 million people died or something like that? I don't know what the figure is. I'm going to tell you right now. But they did have, what was called SARS, and there was another thing. But since the news, the media loved Obama so much, you never heard anything about it. You can't find basically anything about SARS. So it was just so pushed under the rug, it's not even funny. So anyway, I see certain articles, and they kind of like, it's one of these things, you got to sweep what it actually is named under the rug, even with coronavirus. So then I had a look, because it was like, this is a couple times I've seen this worded this way. And I'm looking now at one of the things I found on an article, which I'm not going to read, don't worry about it. It's called Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2, parentheses, SARS-CoV-2. So the coronavirus, apparently to me, appears like, yeah, it is some formality, whatever you want to say. I'm not even saying that word right, but some division, some set, it's on the same family as SARS. Well, SARS was something that was around when Obama was president, and they're not going to say, well, Obama's thing that he pushed under the rug and didn't make a big deal out of, that became really severe and nothing got shut down. That was one thing that Rush mentioned. Nothing got shut down. Business as usual. And the reason was because they did not want to make Obama look bad. So they just covered everything up. Just pretended like it never even happened. And they never informed people on how serious this issue was with SARS. But since the media and everybody else hates, even definitely the Democrats hate Trump so much, they're making a big deal out of this, and a very, very big deal. I saw some article where Nancy Pelosi was well aware of the coronavirus, and she just ignored it and kept on pushing this impeachment trial forward just to cover, to make that more prevalent than what was more serious at the time. Like, because the Democrats that are running the House could have got this ball rolling a lot faster, but they were so wrapped up on trying to get rid of Trump. They didn't care about anything else, and they still don't. That's the problem. That is the big problem. So anyway, what I'm trying to get to, what I'm trying to say is, if Trump does 2 terms, he gets reelected, gets another 4 years, what's going to happen when the next kind of virus comes along? Well, they're going to blame it on Trump. The fact that this one has SARS in the name, it's the actual name for coronavirus, or what is it, COVID-19. The other parentheses is SARS-CoV-2. So it says SARS right in the name. But you won't hear about it because it would make Trump, it would go back to Obama somehow. And they don't want that. That's just my speculation. Right now, I'm sure other people, I kind of thought like this for a while, but my mother keeps on going off on saying that she thinks it's Trump's fault because he made sure that some Chinese official got killed. And now China's trying to, retaliate, come back at us by making this disease, and she thinks that it was like deliberate. And it was like, I believe that for a hair of a second, but then, that's why I do listen to shows like Rush Limbaugh, because then he clarified it, and it's like, no, that's not the case at all. It's completely, like, if you listen to, did I say Friday's show? It was actually, I apologize, it was actually Thursday's show of Rush Limbaugh, because he was back, I think, right now, pretty much this whole week. Now, I think he's going to start a new form of cancer treatment, because the other one was working. It just really knocked his socks off. It was too much. So anyway, it was Thursday's show. So I apologize. I keep on saying Friday's show. It was actually Thursday's show. And, what was I going to say? But he made it very clear, if you listen to all 3 hours, even on Thursday especially, you'll realize that a lot of this is like, it's one-sided. You did not hear about this stuff under Obama, and when you will hear Trump's name years after the fact. They're going to just keep on, making sure that, when he's gone, even when he's not even on this planet, that they're going to make sure to bring up the topic of Trump's name to make sure that nobody else will be able to go as far as he did. I'm just saying that now. Anyway, I did find it was, it's funny, it's called, the website, The Mental Recession. Anyway, Pelosi knew about the coronavirus during impeachment. I'm making sure things are as business as usual, so to speak, on my podcast. According to Nancy Pelosi, impeachment didn't slow down the coronavirus response because everybody knew about the problem. She claims that people in the government didn't act because they either ignored their jobs or were incompetent. Well, the title again says Pelosi knew about the coronavirus during the impeachment. Why didn't she act? During the Senate trial with President Trump, the president began fighting the spread of the virus. Senators were forced to act as a jury for the trial and couldn't work on anything else, and Pelosi did nothing. So the bottom line is, because this is a full-fledged article, they didn't care. I don't know if people understand this. They still don't care about human beings, meaning the Democrats. They just want hell or high water. The only thing that's on their mind is getting rid of Trump and making him look like an ass. That's the only thing. And I see this stuff sometimes. I see these stupid people who put up idiotic things of making Trump look like he doesn't know what he's doing, and he does. So, they still spend 99.99% of their time, the Democrats and the media, just trying to fight not the coronavirus, but fight Trump. And, this is the problem. This is a big problem. Anyway, I had a couple links on COVID-19, coronavirus, or SARS, whatever I just said, because I shut down that thing, pertaining to Pennsylvania. And it said that it's now at 10,017 people infected in the state of Pennsylvania with COVID-19, coronavirus, whatever you want to say. And the deaths, it was broken down too, which I got to look for that one. It's pretty interesting. I'm going to dig through these real quick, so please just forgive me while I do this. Okay, here, I found it. Pennsylvania, yes, cases, 10,017. That's up by almost 1,600 cases in Pennsylvania. Now, if you go under, I use Bing now because I'm back on Windows. But it says deaths, 136. It was up 34 from the last time they did this thing, and it breaks down actually every area of Pennsylvania. So it starts out with Philadelphia, confirmed cases 2,610, deaths 24. Montgomery County, where I live in, there's 982 confirmed and 17 deaths. Now, the amount of people on all these cases who have the coronavirus, the amount who have recovered is 0 on all the cases that have been confirmed. So it's not exactly very heartwarming or reassuring to know that in Pennsylvania that, yeah, there is a lot of cases of the coronavirus, and none of them have recouped. So they either get the coronavirus and, they haven't given that because how could you have like 2,000 cases and 24 deaths and nobody recovered? Which means they have it, but I don't know how bad it is because they should honestly give you a percentage, in my opinion, on who has recovered as well. But they don't. Anyway, yeah, it was funny. I was looking at first for respirators until I found out on one article said, yeah, it helps, and another one says it's just protecting other people from you. So you're not really protecting yourself. But I found a site, and it's coronavirus masks, where to buy them, and it gives you places that have them in stock, and like Lowe's and Home Depot, Walmart, Amazon, and eBay. And it sends you right to that link. I have that. If you're interested in it, just let me know. Okay, now Forbes magazine is the one who is the party pooper. Despite COVID-19 coronavirus, here is why you should stop buying face masks. That was the one I was mentioning before. Not that I did a really good job, but they're basically, this article says they're completely useless. You know, you're wasting your money. Yeah, it says unless you have health, the Forbes magazine article online, it says put down the mask and step away. Unless you have healthcare, unless you're a healthcare professional, a hockey goalie, or Batman, or caring for someone else who has an infection like the new corona infection, you probably don't need to buy a mask now. Just because of COVID-19 coronavirus. And then this guy who wrote this article, he puts, again, I had to stop for a second. COVID-19 coronavirus / or in parentheses, SARS-CoV-2 outbreak. So there you go again. This guy actually put in his article, which I didn't know before, he puts the SARS-CoV-2. And if you are Batman or hockey goalie, an N95 respirator, let me repeat that, N as in Nancy Pelosi, Nancy 95, N95 respirator. Let me repeat this again for those folks who did not hear me because I was joking with it. N95 respirator mask isn't going to help you keep pucks from your face or the Joker from your identity. Then he goes on to say, because I love this part, the SARS-CoV-2 outbreak has been good for face mask manufacturers and sellers. Face mask sales have been surging around the world. Demand has been so high that many businesses have sold out of such items or are limiting the number of customers that customers can buy. Yes, in a way, face masks have become like Baby Yoda toys, except less cute. So the guy goes on to say, you're basically wasting your money. I love to waste money. Matt will tell you that. Don't expect mask sellers to tell you anything. You don't need a mask. After all, how many businesses will ever say you don't really need my product, but buy my product, don't give me money, and screw the shareholders? So the guy's just like saying it is a waste of money. These masks do absolutely nothing for anyone. And the only one, according to this article, as far as what I read, they're only good for the people who have it or for those who are working around a person, a loved one who has the virus. If you don't have it, you don't have any of the symptoms, you're basically just wasting your money. I mean, basically, if you think about it, it's like telling everyone around the world because they started doing this with backpacks. Everyone should really buy a bulletproof vest because there could be that chance you get shot. So that's as much sense what I just said as buying a face mask. Neither one is necessary. And because of all the school shootings, by the way, somebody figured out a way to cash in on that. And for hundreds of dollars, you can buy a bulletproof backpack. I'm not joking. So this is the same thing. This is a cash cow right now for everyone to buy these face masks because everybody is panicking. And you know who to thank for that. So I'm just saying. And yet, here I'll read more stories about COVID-19 or SARS, whatever I said, V2. So, yes, I am not helping the issue whatsoever for all these people that are panicking over this. This article I have in front of me from North Penn, and this was 7 hours ago. Third coronavirus death reported in Horsham Township, county-wide case near 900. Montgomery County officials announced 110 COVID-19 cases on Saturday, with 10 of them occurring in North Penn area and 17 more reported in neighboring municipalities. Now, here's one thing I finally did get. I did like a light bulb went off my head. Every time one person dies, it's like it's a catastrophe in our area of like Lower Providence. 3 people died of the coronavirus. Well, guess what? Those 3 people that died, because I'm looking at even the article in front of me, are like 74, 90-some years old or something else. I mean, okay, they got what is the difference with a person getting sick with the flu and dying because of that, but now they tag on, it seems like, where people who would have died either way from whatever, it now gets tagged on to being a coronavirus virus case. It seems like that. So I'm just trying to play the, which I normally kind of don't, but playing the devil's advocate because I'm always the negative person on everything. I have this article in front of me right now I'm looking at. And this one's kind of funny. It's by CBR.com. It's for Comic-Con and how the coronavirus is going to affect. And you know what? In a really weird way, I'm kind of relieved that this is going to happen or it could happen. That, it's this coronavirus scare is cutting back any large groups of people getting together, which means tons of money that if I was still working my old job, I would have been buying tickets for concerts, comic book conventions, and horror conventions. All of that has stopped. And it definitely is going to stop with these comic book conventions because they do draw rather large crowds. So that is a scare tactic that they had posted. It says many major conventions are being canceled due to the coronavirus, which raises questions about the future of large-scale events. As the outbreak of the coronavirus, COVID-19, continues across the United States and around the globe, it appears no institution is safe from the effect. Theaters, bars, restaurants have been forced to close in an attempt to help contain the disease. Concerts and, yes, pop culture conventions have been canceled. I'm sorry, I'm a little stuffy too, and it's not coronavirus. The latter is small price to pay as infection and jobless rates climb, but is nevertheless remains a big deal, although we should acknowledge the necessity of shutting down these events during current crisis. It leads to the question of whether this is the beginning of the end for super conventions like Comic-Con International and New York Comic-Con. So, yeah, I mean, I hate to say this, they don't realize this. Yeah, it's going to hurt a lot of these businesses, but it's not going to hurt a lot of individual people, such as myself. It's not going to hurt our wallet because I will not be spending my money on these conventions because there will be no conventions. There will be no concerts. In fact, some of these celebrities or entertainers, musicians, are giving concerts for free online now because they know they're not allowed to sell tickets. And it's not really hurting them to put a free concert online, trust me. In fact, I'm actually kind of looking forward to not waste my money on stuff that if this did not happen, I would be spending money on this stuff. So I apologize. I might cut this short just because my nose is so stuffed up for some reason. It's been that way all day. I think that's the thing. This is sinus season too. So as I gotten older, my sinuses do act up during this time of year. So, yeah, and this goes back again. It's just a way of shutting down businesses. And the one guy at work, friend I talked to at work, this guy Joe, he said a lot of these businesses aren't going to open up again because they can't afford to. Being shut down for a month or two could destroy the company from ever opening again. So that's a problem too. Do the Democrats worry about that? No, they don't care because they think this is going to be their ticket in to having a Democratic president. That's all they care about. They don't care that they're going to destroy companies, businesses, and people's lives. And I also believe, I think this is just a guess. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I really believe the housing market's just going to plummet too. You got all these morons, developers who just way overdeveloped areas and never thought twice about it. And, with this thing where people can't afford to pay their mortgages or their leases or their rent, you really don't think this is going to affect. You really don't think this is going to affect anything. I think it will. Real quick, because I want to try to fit this in because I'm running out of time. And I only have a few minutes left before I play Matt's song. I think that's funny. There was a story, a friend sent it to me because he actually found it too, because I heard about it at work. We have a lot of Indian folks where in India, if you don't follow the quarantines of staying in the house, the police officers from that country will beat you, like with a stick. So a friend from my friend Todd, he found a link where people put up, Indian folks put up articles from their country where people did not follow the rules of, you're not supposed to be driving around. You're supposed to be in your home. And they didn't listen. So they got videos of the police officers in India, hitting pedestrians, beating them with sticks, like physical wooden sticks, like I'm watching it now. Round 2, Punjab police reconfirmed the message of self-isolation for the people who missed yesterday's announcement. And they're showing individuals in different locations who don't pay attention to the rules. Now, I wish they would do that here. I'll get reprimanded for that one. But because, Walter, you're always out. You want to get beaten by a stick? Honestly, 99% of the time, I'm at work. So when I'm not at work, what I'm doing is I'm getting stuff for my parents. So that's the price I'll have to pay just to make sure my parents are okay. But yeah, I think it's entertaining, to say the least. I actually, in a cruel way, watching these guys getting the shit beat out of them with a stick for not paying attention to for them leaving their homes when they're not supposed to. Because again, some people just don't listen. I think it's pretty a pretty good way to fight that. At least in India, I think we should take a note out of their page. I'm sorry, my nose is so clogged, folks. I apologize. And that's okay, because I'm almost done anyway. Now, here was an interesting thing I saw. I'm glad the article kind of closed down and I reopened it successfully. And it was from New York Post. And I think the title alone, a lot of my stories says enough. CBS admits to using footage from Italy and New York City coronavirus report. So that alone says a lot. CBS News admits that alarming footage of overflowing wards used during a report on the coronavirus crisis in the Big Apple hospitals, in New York hospitals, was actually shot in Italy. So they had taken footage from Italy, where it is extremely bad with the coronavirus, and they try to pass it off that this is what's going on in New York to make it look much worse than it really is. So, again, that's a nice tactic from the liberal left, from the media, and also from the Democrats. I'm sure they really loved that. I'm sure they had something. They had their hand up that one. Their hand up. They had something up their sleeves with that one. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. CBS News, U.S. Postal Service could shut down by June. Lawmakers warn. Oh, there's an article I had for actually Matt, where in one state they're going to extend it, which is only like 2 days, or a day or two. They're going to extend until May 1st, the shutdown of the state. I think it was Ohio. I have it somewhere for Matt to read. Throughout the coronavirus pandemic, postal workers have been on the front lines, considered essential workers who must continue to do their jobs as usual while others stay home. But some lawmakers are warning that without more support, the U.S. Postal Service could completely shut down the next few months. It says in the next few months, threatening the livelihood of hundreds of thousands of Americans. So, yeah, that would really suck for many people, and definitely me. I'm trying to go through these quick because I'm actually really running out of time. I got like 12 minutes left, 10 minutes left. CBS News. Unfortunately, a lot of stuff's from CBS. And I can't breathe. Coronavirus, Pennsylvania. COVID-19 cases in Philadelphia top 3,000 as statewide total climbs above 10,000. Death toll rises to 136. Since I got so many stories posted, I'll just read the titles at this point because it's getting really, it's getting short on time. Oh, here's one for Matt too. My friend Matt, music teacher guy. You'll love this one. I'm just trying to make some humor out of this, Matt. Pink, the woman Pink from the Philly area, tests positive for coronavirus. Superstar singer Pink revealed that she has tested positive for a COVID-19, becoming the latest celebrity to face a battle with coronavirus amid the global pandemic. There's more to that, but I am so congested, folks. I can barely breathe. I'm sorry. Hazleton. I'm trying to think where that is. 82% of Hazleton is not practiced in social distancing. Officials say that out of the 384 cases of COVID-19 in Lutheran County, 310 are located in Hazleton City. I probably got the name wrong. But yeah, that's pretty high. And they said there'd be a projected growth of 40 to 60% positive cases each day because of people not following the rules or suggestions, whatever you want to say. I'm going to have to shut down some of this stuff because otherwise I won't find the one that I was going to tell Matt about. Okay, coronavirus. This was on the patch. Coronavirus in Alabama. IV issue stay-at-home order. Alabama stood alone in Deep South as the only state not to issue a stay-at-home order until Governor Ivey's announcement Friday. Montgomery, Alabama, stood alone in the Deep South this week as all its neighboring states had stay-at-home orders in effect to slow down the spread of the coronavirus. Governor Kay Ivey, am I saying that right? Finally issued such an order in Alabama as of Friday, which was, now 2 days ago. Face covering urges coronavirus cases in San Diego. I didn't find that one. I was going to read the map, but I did see something they're going to extend the date. San Diego, California officials on Thursday urged all residents to be wearing face coverings as coronavirus cases and deaths continue to climb in San Diego. But you know what? Like I said, it's just a joke. It's really not going to do anything. It's really not going to do anything unless you already have the coronavirus. So, yeah, I mean, I hate to say this, folks, but once again, it is a scare tactic, which honestly is working very well. That's really all it is. Coronavirus Target, the store Target, to limit customers in the stores. Target staff members will also be wearing face masks and gloves while they work serving customers in stores across the nation. So that was one I found. As my nose continues to get extremely congested, I'm just trying to read through this stuff even faster. And plus, I'm running out of time. I've been saying that for the last 4 minutes. I did finally find the story I wanted to read in reference to Matt. Not to scare you because, it's not that much longer, but I think this is just going to continue to be postponed on when they open anything. Ohio extends stay-at-home order through May 1st. Coronavirus update. The revised order places limits on pool use, wedding receptions, and how many shoppers can be in a store at any time. Columbus, Ohio is extending its stay-at-home order through May 1st. Governor Mike DeWine announced Thursday a surge in new coronavirus COVID-19 cases coming. DeWine said he expects the surge to hit the state between April 15th and May 15th. So, I'm telling you, this may end possibly or see a change no earlier. I'm telling you right now, this is just my guess. The soonest is going to be August. I heard somebody else say that. I think the guy at work, friend at work, he thinks it's going to be probably the earliest is going to be August. I agreed with that. The latest is going to probably be around election time. Just so, give you my, input. Does it mean anything? Absolutely not. But is it going to happen? Is it going to be postponed, week by week, month by month? Yes, I believe that. Alrighty, I'm going to read one more story. It has nothing to do with the coronavirus, but it is entertaining to say the least. Then I will play Matt's song. Daily Caller, Chinese market reopens and they still sell bats, dogs, and cats. Isn't that what kind of started this whole ordeal with the coronavirus? Live animals are still for sale in Chinese food markets that reopened after the country recently declared victory over the coronavirus. So it does have the word coronavirus in there. Cages full of cats and dogs waiting for slaughter, and the unsanitary preparation of animals is again reportedly a common sight in Chinese food markets, often called wet markets, according to in-country correspondence with the Daily Mail. I apologize. My nose is so freaking congested. China ordered its wet market to be shut down January after the facts emerged suggesting that the coronavirus was first transmitted to humans via bats and other live animals sold in often filthy places of commerce, according to the Business Insider. However, now that China says it has beaten the virus, the markets seem to have resumed business as usual. That's my favorite line, business as usual. The markets have gone back into operation in exactly the same way they did before the coronavirus, said the Daily Mail correspondent, who observed the market reopening Dungagon. The only difference is the security guards tried to stop anyone taking pictures, which would never have happened before. Another correspondent in Gulan or something, a city in southwest China, photographed a sign advertising bats, snakes, spiders, lizards, and scorpions for sale as remedies for common illnesses. Well, I don't think it really worked, because isn't that how you had transmitted the coronavirus at first? So there is more to that story, which you definitely don't want to hear me try to read. And plus, it is close enough to the end of the show. So, yeah, it seems like, what do you call this? Ground Zero has reopened to do the same thing that caused the coronavirus to become such a pandemic in the first place. So, bottom line is, certain people just don't learn, especially, it's kind of like the Democrats. Anyway, right now, I'm going to play, I believe it looks like to me, Matt, you're probably laughing. That's not what it says, you idiot. But I'm going to call it Dump, Matt's music piece. So have a good night. I hope you enjoyed my show. This is Walter from, you know what, iWalter, signing off for now.